What is good, guys? Today I want to do a bit of troubleshooting on the Skyline. The reason for that is I hit up one of my friends in Australia who's actually a renowned tuner, and he works on RVs like consistently, non-stop. And I showed him the results and he said, hey man, I think that's actually a bit weird. You know, you may want to check some things, troubleshoot some things, and just make sure that there's no issues with exhaust leaks or, you know, wastegates getting stuck open and things like that. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to check a few things, then we're going to check out the tune, maybe even get the remote in and just check it. But you know, like, I just want to make sure 100% that there is nothing physically wrong with the car, and then we'll go from there, I guess. Okay, so I may have just found my problem, actually. And I'm kicking myself over this. So, this is where the wastegate thing comes to right now, and this is it fully closed. See the issue there? The hole is a little bit that way instead of fully closed, so it's more like this. It was holding it open a tiny bit. So that's one issue, so we're gonna fix that. The other thing is I wanna make sure that this isn't getting stuck on anything. It doesn't feel like there's extra play in there or anything, but I just wanna make sure there's nothing like, you know, getting in the way like what was happening with my old wastegate. And the best way for me to, that I figure the best way for me to do this is actually to take out my wideband sensor here. And I have one of these bore scope cameras that you use, you know, if you're worried about like, you know, dropping a valve and checking damage on pistons and stuff like that. And I picked this up off Amazon. It's a really nice one, actually. Super thin and small and really flexible and long. And this one's actually really cool because you can plug it into your phone, use different things, and it's like a normal USB port that then turns into a micro. It's kind of cool. So if you have an Android, you can just do that, or you can click it back to normal USB, and then you've also got USB 3. But yeah, anyways, true story, I tried doing all of this yesterday. My tuning laptop, the old Windows one that I got for like $100, completely blew up. It shorted out the entire like power rails on the motherboard, so no power was getting to the hard drive anymore. Luckily though, the hard drive was fine. I recovered the tuning files off that, and then I grabbed one of these spare MacBooks that I had lying around, did boot camp in Windows. So that's my new tuning laptop now. But yeah, yesterday was definitely not my day. Anyways, so yeah, first things first is obviously, I think this is going to be majority part of my issue, that this was leaking. But I still want to stick the camera in there, just make sure this isn't catching on anything, because that could be an issue as well if it's like, you know, actually not closing properly. But I'm pretty sure that we found the issue. It's that this wasn't preloaded correctly. So the way that preload works for these is you're supposed to have it so it's about 4 to 5 mil that way. So you line this up next to there and you make sure it's about 4 mil like tighter. I don't know how to explain it, but you wind it back up 4 mil so that then you're pulling down like the wastegate down to get it over the hole. Right now that just slips right over it because it's not set up right. So that's possibly why. And when it was trying to build boost, it was just leaking straight out of the wastegate. I'm really sure that's my issue, and that's a big off on my part. Anyways, enough talking, let's get to it. So I've currently got the camera down in there, as you can kind of see there. And you can see the wastegate port here. And if I move the wastegate port, I can see that it's not hitting the side of the wall there. So we're all good, it's not hitting. Like I said, I'm pretty confident it was just that the wastegate preload wasn't done correctly. So that kind of sucks. Pretty much a big off on my part, but these things happen. And there's that little camera with the little LEDs and everything in it. It's super handy, hey, like seriously, amazing. Don't have to take the exhaust off to check that. So yeah, I'm gonna put my wideband sensor back in now, and I'm gonna adjust that preload. I'm gonna take the car for a drive and just try and like see if it feels any different. But yeah, I'm gonna really kick myself if that was it, because that's totally a mistake on my part. So I'm taking the car out for a quick drive, and we are definitely making boost faster. Like, definitely. I'm going to turn the logging on the computer, and I'm going to do a few rips, and then we'll look at the logs. Okay, so it does look like it's spooling a tiny bit faster, like 100 or so RPM, but I'm not going on the highway to like do like a 4th gear pull to really know for sure. But I wanted to check VCT, and I checked here the pinout for the link ECU, and it says that auxiliary output 1 is the VTC cam solenoid. And when I go in here and we open this up and just double check that I've definitely got output and auxiliary 1 here, it says it's off. So I'm not sure why my VCT's off. So that's another thing. I'm gonna go talk to the guys at SDF and just see if that's something normal, or they meant to do that, or they forgot. But this is probably another reason why it's not coming on full boost and why my bottom end just feels so crap. So we'll definitely get that fixed as well. So I've just gotten home and things did feel a lot better when we enabled VCT. But I want to make sure that that is definitely the VCT solenoid and that, you know, I'm not crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable what's called like a pulsating test on that auxiliary output. So we're going to put a test pulse on it and you can hear it going in the engine bay. And what you can do is you can put your hand on it and know what it is. And what it does is it just makes it pulsate. Yep, that's it. That's definitely, hear it? That is definitely my VCT solenoid. So this entire time, I'd even say that maybe VCT's never been enabled on this car since I got the Link ECU. So there you go. We'll set it back to my GP output with all my conditions. I'm gonna leave that on. I'm totally mind blown that VCT wasn't turned on. Yeah, that's a big oof. The sucky thing is you know, that was supposed to be set up on the first dyno tune that I had done, and I don't know what's happened, whether or not it was turned off previously in like the most recent tune or what, but considering I had to set up all the values in here for the GP output, it's most likely possible that it was just never set up to begin with from the very first tune that we had. So that kind of really sucks. But, you know, these things happen. Going for a quick trip to the hardware store. I want to get one of those little pins, locking pins for the wastegate actuator, because I'm still using a paperclip. We couldn't find the pin that I left at SDF because they'd already like washed the floor and stuff. So there was like no chance of me finding that pin that I dropped on the floor. Anyways, so that's why we're here. So we're gonna go get that pin and then we're gonna go do some pulls, because in case you can't tell, it's getting nice and dark right now, which means cooler IATs. Well, right now I'm stopped, so we're 33 degrees, but before when I was driving it was 20. And highway pulls, less traffic, perfect for some road tuning. But already I'm noticing a massive difference. Seriously, I have my mid-range back. And a lot of you guys that know RBs, if you've ever experienced no VCT compared to having VCT, like just go unplug your VCT solenoid and take it for a drive and feel how boggy it is in the mid-range when you just try to put your foot down until the turbo kicks in. That's what I've been feeling this whole time. That's the whole reason why I got this other housing. That's the whole reason why I've gone back for multiple tunes after multiple tunes and trying to make a difference. And it turns out it was mainly just because someone didn't turn VCT on in my ECU. Yeah. Alrighty, we got what we came for. These little pins, this should fix my dodgy paperclip fix on the wastegate actuator, and then we should be good. Even my car sounds better now that VCT's working. And it like has way more mid-range torque and power. Far out. Alright, so some highway pulls here, and I wasn't exactly paying too much attention to the digital dash, so let's just see here what we're getting. So we're getting, wow, that's a massive difference. What? You're kidding, right? That's saying we got full boost on a 4-gear pull at 3,500 RPM. See that? Right there. 3,507 RPM, 1.2, so 102 MGP. That's more like it. Wow. What a huge difference. That's massive. That is absolutely massive. And then let's have a look at some of these other pulls here. I think this one here was another one. And we got 1.1 bar at 4,300 RPM there. Okay, so it's a bit, it varies it seems. This one here I know was 4th gear. And we're looking at 3,500, 1.2 bar. That's such a difference. Okay, also, like I said, like the mid-range of the car feels so much better too. So having that VCT enabled definitely helps a lot, as well as that wastegate has been preloaded correctly now, so that's not like, you know, letting any exhaust out, although I don't think it was much. It was only like a millimeter, but still that can obviously attribute to it. But man, it's driving so much better now. Like, I'm so happy, and I'm also kicking myself that it was something that simple. Anyways, I'm actually in the Up Garage car park, so we're going to go in and take a look at some cars and maybe see what's there. this is like my mid-range stop, the point where I go to after the quick highway run, and then I go back on the highway home whenever I'm doing road tuning. So let's go see what's in the store and if anything cool's there. Man, I love this place. I can see there's a fair bit of RB love here. Really clean black 32. Damn, that's kind of low too. Nice silver one. It's got all the RB love, and then there's a 34 here too. Hell yeah. There's, including my car, there's 4 RBs here right now. There's a Saurus, there's one 1J, S15, and there's another black S15 in there. So that's 2 SRs. Damn, good night. Seems like all the party guys are out. Let's see if there's any deals or anything. Although, I kind of left my wallet in the car on purpose so I don't spend money. But let's still check it out. Yeah, there's not much anything really different in here from when I was here last. I know that's an RX-8 seat now because of that. But yeah, overall, there's nothing, no cheap rides or anything, reclinables like I need. But yeah, I mean, it's all the same sometimes, but generally like at least once a month. During the end of the month is the best time to go to Up Garage. That's when they get all the new stuff out, because what happens is people don't have enough money to pay off their credit cards in the middle of the month, so they sell the parts they have to Up Garage, and then Up Garage has all these parts that they put out on the shelf on special and stuff for the end of the month, because that's when everyone gets paid in Japan. Everyone gets paid monthly. So normally at the start of the month or mid-month, people sell all the stuff because they need to pay off their debts and credit cards and stuff. And then normally a week before payday, which is the 25th of every month, all the good stuff is out and about and Up Garage, and that's when you can normally get yourself a good bargain. But you got to be here like, you know, 3-4 days before that date, and then normally you find some cool stuff. So a little pro tip for you guys. Anyways, nothing's really new here, so I'm gonna head and we'll get back to some pulls. 33.4, real 34, and then the 32s are behind me. It's hard to see, but that's you can see the indicator there. Oh man, there's some RB love happening right now. We got a train. If only we could all just like enter drift right away around this corner without getting in trouble. Plus, I got to hand in my license next week, so yeah, that happened. I'll talk about that in another video. But everything's looking good. Let's get on the highway. Hopefully this guy's going on the highway too. It'd be cool to kind of do side-by-side pulls with him. Let's have some fun. Okay, here's a little second gear pull. Third gear. Hell yeah, this thing feels good. Woo! So much more responsive in the mid-range now. Okay, so I have my logging turned on right now, and what I'm gonna do is, I'll wind up the window first. I'm gonna put some markers on the line so I know which pole to look for. So I'm gonna go 1, like I'm gonna go up, come off, go up, come off, back down, and then go up again. Now I'm going to see those 3 marks on the log, and then I'll know where to go. Okay, so let's start doing a 4th gear pull now. Wow. Did you guys see that? We literally had 1 bar of boost, full boost by 3,500 RPM. Let's do that again. We'll slow back down. All right, foot flat to the floor right now. Whoa. That is way more freaking responsive. Man, what an oof. All right, we got our response back. I'm very happy right now. So just chilling on the couch right now, and I'm going over the logs, and as you can see, here are my 3 spikes for the markers in the log, so I knew which pull to look at. And as I move up here, check this out. We're at 1.1 bar of boost at 3,507 RPM. In fact, we're at 1 bar of boost at 3,395 RPM. That's huge. Like, absolutely huge. We're at 1 bar at, 3,430 RPM. That's a huge difference compared to the previous pulls we were doing. And then I did another pull here, and once again, we see the same result. We're looking at like 1 bar of boost at 3,400 RPM, and we go up there to a peak of, peak is about here at 1.2 bar. So I do need to adjust the duty cycle a tiny bit on the duty cycle table, which will be in here. I also re-enabled my closed loop lambda because that was off as well for some reason. We're going to look up waste. There we go, wastegate duty cycle. So yeah, in the top RPM here, like we're gonna have to probably adjust it from like 4,000 RPM onwards and just bring it down a few clicks. And what that means is it just means it's going to open the wastegate a little bit more so that we're not getting to 1.2. The max I want to hit is 1.1, and I only want to hit like 1.1 up at like 5,500 RPM. So we want a consistent 1 bar through here as much as possible, and maybe just at the top end here 1.1. But honestly, I'm fine with 1 bar. Anyway, so yeah, the data isn't lying. All we got to do now is go back to the dyno and see what the results are there. But it looks like we've fixed the issues and it makes total sense now. Now, seeing full boost at 3,500 RPM, that makes sense. What we were seeing before just didn't add up. So yeah. Well, there you guys have it. It just goes to show that sometimes if you're not 100% sure, always like cross-reference and check with other people and just try and get like a couple different opinions, because it's definitely saved me this time. Jumping into it today and checking over everything, we found that tiny issue with the wastegate, which I don't think was actually causing as much of an issue as what I initially thought. I think the big factor here was VCT was never enabled, and it's killing me that it's not been enabled for the last 3 times I've been to the dyno since I put the link ECU in there. And it's okay, like, you know, I know mistakes happen, it's okay, like I'm not blaming anyone, but it just sucks because, you know, I've been trying to chase and get extra response and I may have had it there and it may not have been all that bad with the old housing to begin with if it was turned on. So, you know, these things happen, it's all part of life, and I don't want to hide anything from you guys, and I want you guys to see everything that happens when it happens. So I hope you guys appreciate my honesty there. And then also just, yeah, car feels so much better. I can't wait till we can go back to the dyno and actually, you know, print out a graph and put them on top of the other ones and see. I'm also curious now what my old housing would have been like with VCT enabled, but we still had that little sleeve issue with the internal wastegate. So we might get that welded up and maybe go back to the old housing at some point, just like maybe when we get cams and things like that in the future. But for now, I'm beyond excited and I'm just happy because I solved a problem, you know what I mean? And I was so disappointed before, and now I'm like, yeah, I had no reason to be disappointed because we fixed it and it was something simple. But I do have one thing to say. One of you guys put a comment on the video to check my VCT and make sure it was actually turned on, and that's what prompted me to check it today. I don't know who you are or what happened to your comment, but I've searched, like I've used the search function and everything in the comment section. I cannot find your comment anymore. So if that was you, thank you so much. I wish I still had your comment so I could actually call you out and say thank you to you with your name and give you a shout out. But I don't know. But just so you guys know, I do read every comment. Sure, I might not reply to every single one of them, but I do read them. I think everything that you guys say is very valuable. So with that, I don't want this to be a long outro. Thanks heaps for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell me what you think in the comments of this video and if you're happy. And maybe I helped you out with solving an issue. Who knows? Catch you next one, guys. Ja mata ne.